So we're going to try to do it in blocks to make it fast for everyone this evening. So if you're not familiar, we're going to do a couple of motions. We'll have student recognition, continue with a couple of motions, and then we'll leave it for public comment. So at this time, if I could have a motion for the approval of minutes, please.
Can we have a roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Rose. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rose. Roll call.
Mrs. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. Hope?
He's here.
Mr. Guzalski?
He is excused.
Mrs. DeCiato?
Here.
Mr. Enslin?
He is excused.
Mr. Gershi?
Here.
Mr. Gambita?
Here.
Mr. Auckland?
Here.
And Mr. Wood?
Yeah, he is excused as well.
Excuse. Attorney Meir?
Here.
Dr. Barrett?
Here.
Dr. La Rosa? Here. Ms. Emmett is here. Mr. Gregorski?
Here.
Mrs. Bradley?
Here.
Mr. Pigeon?
Here.
Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Watson?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mrs. Fitzsimmons?
Here.
Ms. DeKnight?
Here.
Dr. Szymanski?
She's excused.
Mrs. Gregory?
She's excused.
Mrs. Liptak?
Here.
Mr. Seaman?
Here.
Mr. Dunda?
Here.
And Mr. Black.
Here.
Madam President, you have 6 board members present. That includes Mr. Hope, who is on the phone.
Thank you, Rose. If I could have a motion for number 5, the approval of last month's meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the board work session held on April 7th and the regular board meeting held on April 7th, 2021.
I'll second that. That motion was made by Mr. Gershi and then seconded by myself. Are there any comments or concerns on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining? Any opposed? That motion does pass. Could I have a motion for number 6, please, the treasurer's report? Anybody? I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report for the general account, the food service account, and the student activities account for January, February, and March of 2021. Mr. Hope, thank you. I made that motion and Mr. Hope seconded that motion. Are there any questions or comments or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Any abstaining? That motion does pass. A motion for the approval of bills, please.
I make a motion to approve of bills for general fund and food service.
That motion was made by Mr. Auckland and then seconded by Mrs. DeCiato. Again, any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And any abstaining? That motion does pass. Mr. Gregorski, student recognition, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a number of students we'd like to recognize this evening, the first of which are the individuals on the principals list for the 3rd marking period. Those individuals have scored the highest marking period average at the conclusion of the 3rd marking period. So for 9th grade, the 2nd highest average belonged to Rainey Carroll, and the highest belonged to Adrian Agnello. For 10th grade, the 2nd highest average was Kylie Mary, and the highest average belonged to Evan Pierce. In 11th grade, our 2nd highest average was Kaylee Romanowski, and our highest average was Sarah Collins. And for 12th grade, our 2nd highest average was Jamie Bryan, and our highest average was Leonard Mayalko III. Congratulations to those students on reaching the principals list for the 3rd marking period. Additionally, we'd like to recognize a couple of outstanding seniors this evening, the first of which is Courtney Petrolak. Courtney is the daughter of Christopher and Catherine Petrolak of Weymouth.
Hello, my name is Courtney Petrolak, and I first wanted to say thank you. It is an honor to be recognized and to speak for you guys today. Thank you so much for all the opportunities that you have given me throughout my years at Western Green. I have been going here since preschool. I went to Robert D. Wilson, and I'll be graduating here in just a few short months. Over my times here at Western Wayne, I have met some amazing people, some amazing peers, amazing teachers, and made some amazing memories. Being a senior this year, it was really nice to have the option to go in person or online. Being in person, I get to see my friends and my teachers, and I get the hands-on learning that I love, and I am so thankful for that. Being in AP and honors classes throughout high school has really prepared me for college and the challenging material that I will be facing. Along with this, I would like to thank my teachers. My teachers have always been here for me. They make it a priority to help each and every student. Taking hard-level classes and balancing work and extracurricular activities can be hard, but the teachers help us students to succeed each and every day, and I'm so thankful for them. I'd also like to thank my friends and my family for being here for me as well. Not only do the teachers help, but my friends and my family help me balance my busy life while being there for me when I need someone to lean on. My friends and family are my #1 supporters, and I'm really grateful for them. After I graduate, I do plan on going to college in the fall. I'm going to Pennsylvania College of Technology over in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and I'll be studying pre-physician's assistant studies and hope to get my master's of science after the 5 years. It's an accelerated program. And then I hope to work as a pediatrician or a gynecologist. I'm not 100% sure, but I know my friends, my family, and my teachers will always be here for me to help me through that. And college as well to help me further understand what I want to do in the future with my career. That's all I have for you guys today, but I hope you guys have a great night.
We'd again like to congratulate Courtney and wish congratulations to her parents, Christopher and Catherine, as well, on raising a fantastic individual. Up next, we'd also like to recognize senior Jonathan Stanley. Jonathan is the son of Robert and Alina Stanley of Lincoln.
Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Stanley, a senior at Western Wayne. During my time in middle school and high school, I've been involved in various activities, such as ultimate friendly, Western Wayne marching band, Western Wayne musicals, stage crew, PJS, environment, gifted program, and NHS. For scholastic awards, I maintain honors every quarter, usually distinguished. I've taken as many AP and honors courses as I can, including AP Chem, AP English, AP Gov, AP Bio, and Anatomy honors. My future plans include first I want to take a break here, and then the following year I will be going to college for something in biology. I haven't decided yet. And alongside that, I plan on developing my writing career. During my break here, I plan on continuing my writing and devoting even more time to it. And I want to, most importantly, hone in on a specific career path in biology that I want to take, and use that to make the best school selection that I possibly can. I would like to thank the Board of Education for all of my opportunities at Western Wayne, and for being selected for senior recognition. I would like to thank my parents for the constant support. I would like to thank all of my incredible teachers for the work that they've done. But most importantly, I'd like to thank Mrs. McClure and Mrs. Wayman for being incredibly generous and accommodating, both to myself and all of the other students. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Wayman specifically for her immense support in my writing. Thank you.
Again, we'd like to congratulate Jonathan on his outstanding accomplishments, recognize his parents, Robert and Elena, for raising a great kid. And one final thing, Madam President, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to recognize this past month, Cinderella was performed here in the Veterans Memorial Auditorium on April 9th, 10th, and 11th. It if you had the opportunity to see the show either virtually or in person, it was fantastic. And I'd like to congratulate all the members of the students who were involved in the performing arts, and Mrs. McLaughlin, Mrs. Orr, Mrs. Arneal, and all the individuals who put on a fantastic show. So,
Thank you. And as always, it is just the board's pleasure to have these children come before us, and just to see their success month after month is just wonderful, and to be on the principal's list again for the third quarter. So we actually want to congratulate Courtney and Janitin on behalf of the board and wish them great success in the future. So great job to them. Also, now we will open it up to public. I'm not sure how many people want to speak. We would like to try to give everyone an opportunity, so if we could just be aware of the time and keep it to a 15-minute, we would appreciate that. I don't know how you want to do this. If people want to come and speak,
I'll go first. Where do we go?
up here by the microphone
Just
or
stand. It's
up front, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Well, if I can enunciate enough, can everyone hear me?
Right, we know you, but just state your name.
Yeah.
And if you feel
For
you
the
need to-
minutes, I'm Roger Schaefer. I'm the
Microphone, help yourself.
It does work?
I don't know.
Joe, I think we have to open.
It's fine.
Okay.
Everybody can hear me, right? I'm Roger Schaefer. I'm a resident of Salem Township and a former board member here at Western Wayne.
Leave it to the detective, Mark. Thank you, sir.
Madam President, I stand before the board in an attempt to show others that it's okay to be a voice in a silent crowd. Madam President, upon your installment as a board director, you took an oath. I'm here to attempt to remind you of that oath. I'm also here to remind you that the Latin term in loco parentis, translated in place of the parent, applies to you, the other board directors, the administration, and the teaching staff. As a parent, or a parent by proxy, you should not want to see the children in a mask all day where you cannot see that child's smile and other expressions for that matter. The effects of said mask are more detrimental than beneficial, but you probably don't agree. You're here supporting a tyrannical government. I will save you the debate, for it doesn't matter. Any statistics that I offer will presumably be disregarded as conspiracy. So I'll just remind you of history. Board Director Gershie, your baby boomer generation danced the twist maskless while Chubby Checker sang in 1958. In 1958, the Asian flu pandemic was a real thing. Also, in your generation, you frolicked through the fields of Bethel, New York, maskless during Woodstock in 1969, when there was another pandemic. That generation was not concerned about their siblings, parents, and grandparents as they pushed to be a generation alleged of freedom and liberty. And while people died, I find it quite hypocritical that because of their own elderly conditions and fear of their own mortality, the boomers who became politicians and society's leaders are pushing masks and other draconian measures on our children who don't suffer the effects of SARS-CoV-2 virus as much as others. Again, I don't believe that you have any problem with their hypocrisy. I don't believe that your words or my words will fall on deaf ears. Let it be known, most Wednesdays there are at least 6 Western Wayne High School students in my home where we review their academics and just enjoy some time. They are not social distancing. They are not wearing masks. They may even eat from the same food containers. This is happening all the time and has been since the beginning of this alleged pandemic, not only in my house, but throughout the district. This school mask policy is useless because the people will continue to live life outside the walls of this district. I find it annoying that I have to come here and alert you of this, for I'm not worried about those students contracting SARS-CoV-2, but we all should be worried that in my absence as a chaperone in my home, hopefully they're not contracting something that more serious that might require 18 years and 9 months to deal with. Let it further be known, Ronald Reagan once said, the scariest 9 words spoken are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Amen.
Government has failed to help more times than not. Government this past year has been not a friend to liberty and freedom as well. Thus, we must turn to a line in the Declaration of Independence as a reminder of what to do. That line being, when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government. Tonight's budget meeting will show we, the local taxpayer, are on the hook for 60% of the budget, and that we should have a majority say in our school and how it's operated, and allow us to throw off the cookie-cutter solutions from Harrisburg and Washington. Madam President, are you going to take the lead and attempt to stop the government from abusing our children and using your in loco parentis role and rid the district of this useless and abusing mask policy? Will you be the spark that lights the fire in the backside of the government officials above you in Harrisburg and further in Washington? If not, I'm asking for you and the rest of the board to resign effective immediately, for we, the silent majority, are silent no more, and deserve and will find representation more fitting of we the people who share in the heritage and values that founded this country, not despotism or tyranny. Thank you.
I apologize to everyone for my tardiness. I'll give you this time to don't let it happen again. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Jessica Race. I would like to thank the board and administration for allowing this meeting to be in person tonight. I want to thank all the teachers for their extra hard work and dedication to our kids through this difficult year of teaching and learning. But tonight, I'm here to voice my concerns for the well-being of my children. We have 4 kids in the school district, 2 middle school, 2 elementary. As a mom, I knew this year was going to be difficult, but I was thankful for the opportunity for my children to still be taught in person, which I believe is important for the best learning. When the school year started, I immediately knew these masks were going to cause a lot of issues, physically and mentally, but we persevered. When we were handed 4 computers to bring home, I was thankful, but knew the amount of screen time and the possibility of unfiltered sites could enter our house. But I trusted God would carry us through. As the year continued and issues rose, I decided I needed to speak up and fight for my children's physical and mental well-being. 3 of my children wear glasses. The tears that were shed this year due to glasses fogging up broke my heart. The bloody noses that my kids had this past year due to lack of fresh air broke my heart. My child coming home in tears because of being yelled at that his mask wasn't above his nose broke my heart. My child saying he has to bring multiple masks to school because his mask gets sweaty from wearing it during recess broke my heart. Enough is enough. Our children need fresh air. It is not the school's responsibility to treat my child medically with a mask because they think it's for their safety. It should be our choice to mask or not mask our children.
Yes.
I had a child miss 2 weeks of in-person schooling because of a close contact in class. My issue is I don't understand why we are doing contact tracing when our children have to wear a mask 100% of the time. I had both a letter from my doctor and a letter from Department of Health stating that if my child has no symptoms, that he should be allowed to return to school 10 days after being exposed. But that wasn't good enough for the school. The school required a negative test to return at 10 days, even though the Department of Health and a doctor both stated he could. When did medical safety become a priority over education in the school system? I would like to touch on my last concern, the computers. As a family, we lean more towards the conservative side of things. Our kids are in the minority when it comes to having a phone. I have 2 middle schoolers who have never owned a phone, and we are more than happy to keep it that way as long as possible. So when it came time to bring computers home for homework, I knew I had to have my guard up, and I had to help protect my kids from possible bullying, pornography, Google Meets that were not administered by teachers, and anything else that could be detrimental to my child's well-being. Well, like anything in the cyber world, things slipped through the cracks, and devastating sights hit our home. As a mom, my heart broke more than I thought possible. I am here to speak up for the parents that won't. I am asking that if computers have to be used next year, that they are only used in school.
That's right.
That if there's homework to be done, that it would be in paper form.
Yes.
I am asking that more filters are to be put on our computers at school so kids can't play games. They can't do Google Meets among each other. So they can't watch a movie when they're supposed to be learning in class. I am begging you to put your focus back on our kids' education and allow them to start breathing fresh air physically and mentally again.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Pfeiffer, for the record. May is National Foster Care Month. And because we're instructed in Proverbs 31:8 to open our mouths for those who are unable to speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are desolate and defenseless, that's what I'm doing here tonight. I'm speaking for the emotionally abused child who during several months with us had to have every interior door in our home opened, or at least ajar, so that he could see how there was no one lurking behind it. The shower curtain had to be pulled back. Even the larger cupboards in our house had to be ajar. I'm giving a voice tonight in telling you that when he comes to school, he needs to see his peers. He needs to see his teachers. He needs to see his bus driver. He needs to see his office workers. He needs to see the cafeteria workers. He needs to see their faces to be able to discern people's emotions so that he can continue to learn what a typical facial expression looks like, so that he can learn how to correctly interpret others' emotions instead of assuming everyone is out to get him. This is not okay. This is not okay. I'm speaking for the physically abused child whose perpetrator is presently incarcerated and serving a sentence for attempted murder on this child who he repeatedly kicked in the head with a steel-toed boot. Every single night before bed, I had to spray monster spray all around his bedroom and under his bed to keep the monsters out of his room. A spray bottle literally marked monster spray. I sprayed it everywhere in his room. This child needs to be able to rebuild trust with the adults in his life, and make it possible in part by him being able to see